Hey, welcome back. Tiffany here with Hot Mom's Dinner Club, bin number 19. All right, so last week we had some fun. We got steak, nachos for dinner, and pizza all in the same bin. So this week we're gonna bring it home with some home-style meals. So we're gonna start off with Salisbury steak. I bet most of you grew up on Salisbury steak. Basically, it's a hamburger steak. We're going to make, just like we did in bin 4, big batch of the meatloaf base. We're gonna make some hamburger steaks with it. We're gonna make some meatballs for meal 3. And we're going to bake those off, and then we're gonna smother them in a mushroom gravy. We're gonna serve the Salisbury steaks with mashed potatoes and just canned corn. Meal 2, we're going super nutritious. We're gonna have a big salad, and we're gonna do the salad with just grilled chicken on top, any vegetables you wanna throw in there, just big salad night with grilled chicken. Meal 3, we're gonna use the meatballs that we made when we did meal 1. We're gonna smother those meatballs in spaghetti sauce. And we're gonna have a meatball Parmesan hoagie, one of my favorite meals. That's a really big sandwich, very filling. So we're just gonna put a light salad with that. And that brings us to meal 4. And that's gonna be a shake and bake. And perhaps some of you remember the shake and bake from when you were growing up as well. So we're gonna serve that shake and bake pork chops with scalloped potatoes and just canned green beans. So actually 4 fairly simple meals. 2 of them, meal 2 and 3, are gonna be super easy for you, your quick nights. You will have to do meal 1 before you prepare meal 3 because you're using the same ground beef mix for both of those meals. Other than that, that's the only thing you need to pay attention to. So with all that said, let's get cooking. So I'm gonna get started on meal 1. And the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make that meatloaf base. So this is that same recipe you've been seeing on several occasions. I've got my rough chopped and pureed vegetables here. I've got my 2.5 pounds ground beef, breadcrumbs, eggs. I've got our salt and our Italian seasoning. You can refer to bin 4 if you need more instruction on any of this. Bin 4 has the mashed potatoes and the hamburger mix here in that. So I've got my potatoes already diced as well. So you can refer to bin 4 for more instruction on the mashing of the potatoes or the making of this meatloaf base. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna get everything, start mixing up so I can roll out my hamburger steaks and my meatballs. All right, so now I'm gonna start rolling out the Salisbury steaks and the meatballs. A little bit of spray on the bottom to hold the paper. This is the very last of my roll here, so I think it's just enough though. We'll spray that down. The spray will help kind of hold it. And the parchment paper will help with your cleanup. We're gonna do big ones first for the Salisbury steaks, 4 big ones, and the rest we're gonna roll out for meatballs. So I've got my meatballs and my hamburger steaks all rolled out. I'm gonna get those in the oven. The 4 hamburger steaks, we're just gonna cook about halfway through. We're gonna finish cooking them in our simmering sauce. The meatballs, at least 155 degrees on the meatballs before you pull those out. And the hamburger steaks, we're gonna finish cooking those by simmering in our sauce. Meanwhile, I'm gonna julienne this onion for our mushroom gravy. This 8-ounce package of mushrooms was pre-sliced. It was marked down to 99 cents. I didn't see any point in slicing my own mushrooms. We're actually going to put some spaghetti sauce into our Salisbury steaks. That's not really typically in Salisbury steaks, but after we make our roux, we're gonna deglaze with this just because we don't need quite all of this for the meatball hoagies. So we're gonna use a little bit of this in the Salisbury steaks just to get rid of it, and the remainder we're saving for meal 3. And then we're going to finish up the gravy with a little bit of beef stock. So we're actually adding a little bit of tomato into this that normally wouldn't be there, and then we're going to finish it with the beef stock to make the beef gravy. So we're going to get our sauce started and on the simmer while the hamburger steaks are cooking, and then we're going to throw those in to the sauce to simmer and cook the rest of the way through. So our meatballs are 155 degrees. So I'm just gonna reserve the meatballs on a plate for now, let them cool, and then get them in the refrigerator. For bread, I've got the hoagies for the meatball subs. I say 4 hoagies for the meatball subs. And then I took 2 and I cut them up into 4 pieces. And I'm gonna save this one. And the other one, I just buttered it up. I'm gonna pop that in the oven. That'll give us a little bit of bread for this meal. Meanwhile, the hamburger steaks are just simmering. The sauce is thickening up a bit. The mushrooms are getting cooked through, and hamburger steaks are getting cooked through. They'll need to be 155 as well. They should actually be more than that, because you're wanting to simmer these down in a little sauce a little bit just to kind of tenderize them, more so than just get them cooked and then out. So we're gonna let those simmer for a total of about 15 minutes. The potatoes are almost ready. I'm gonna get those mashed. Like I said, check out bin 4 or a couple of the other bins for the mashing of the potatoes. We've done this on several occasions. So I'm gonna get our corn working. You can use frozen corn if you want. I just chose to use canned corn on this. I'm gonna get our bread in the oven, and I'm gonna mash these potatoes. So there is an awesome, hearty, home-style meal. Got our sauteed onions and mushrooms there on top, and then that tomatoey beef gravy, homemade mashed potatoes, skin on, why peel them if you don't have to, corn and bread. Meal 1, Salisbury steaks. Now on to meal 2. So we're getting started on our grilled chicken salads. We're having a big salad tonight, just top with the grilled chicken. I had chicken left over from past bins, little dabs of it that I've frozen when I didn't use all the chicken breasts that came in the package. So I just kind of portioned mine up just in kind of smaller pieces. So I've got my skillet here getting hot, and I marinated my chicken in olive oil, dried dill, salt, and pepper. So I'm going to start searing all that off. Meanwhile, while this is searing off, I'm going to start making the salad. I already picked through the spinach. I just kind of lightly picked off the stems from the spinach. I've got our iceberg here. I already cored that and took off the outer pieces. I'm just going to go ahead and tear some of that up in here. You always want to tear your iceberg. If you use the knife, it'll discolor on you faster. So I'm going to get some of this nice crispy stuff in here. You'll more than likely have some iceberg left over and possibly spinach, depending on what size you end up buying. I ended up buying a big tub because it was marked down and the bags were more expensive, and the use by date was not very far off. So I got the big tub, so we'll have lots of spinach left over for lunches throughout the week. So I've loaded this up. I'm going to put all of our toppings on it. I'm going to keep the chicken separate, especially since we're holding on to our leftover salad here for tomorrow night's meal. I did a yellow pepper because they were on sale. So I have my yellow pepper. Sometimes these can be pricey. But, you know, carrots, we usually just have a carrot hanging out in the fridge because of all the carrots we use in all the bins. So carrots always good, nice and cheap, colorful. Got carrot, celery. We had celery from making the hamburger steaks anyway. So we've got our celery on there. I like celery for that crunch for the salad. Cucumbers, always inexpensive. Red cabbage. I like to use red cabbage a lot. My daughter actually loves to eat raw red cabbage, and it's always inexpensive. Plus, it has a long shelf life. You can have a red cabbage in there for 3 weeks, and it's still good. So, you know, and it goes a long way. So I just buy the smallest head I can find, and this wasn't even a quarter of it. And you've got that nice and colorful, and it gives a nice bite. Radishes are always cheap and inexpensive as well. I saved a few of the mushrooms since we had mushrooms going on. I saved a few of the mushrooms instead of putting them all in the gravy. That is a beautiful salad. Lots of color going on there. Cottage cheese is always a nice addition, a little extra protein for you and your family if you'd like to put that on. And I always like to have sunflower kernels hanging around because sunflower kernels are very inexpensive as far as, nuts can be very expensive sometimes. Sunflower kernels are a nice, inexpensive way to get some more crunch and texture in your salad. So, we got our grilled chicken to put on top of here, just some extra ideas here. You can kind of mix match whatever toppings you would like on your salad. Also, we have 6 hoagies in this bin. We need 4 for meal 3. So you have 2 hoagies and you have 3 other meals. So it's up to you how you want to use your hoagies. Or perhaps you have some bread in the freezer that you've saved from another bin that you can just use for this as well and have bread for every night. So here's meal 2, our big salad. You got a nice salad there, saving the rest of it for meal 3. Grilled chicken, I threw out the cottage cheese, some sunflower kernels. I got some blue cheese dressing. Often, whenever we do a big salad night, sometimes I do like to get a different dressing than ranch. We do a lot of ranch and a lot of vinaigrettes other times on our side salads, but sometimes I like to get a different type of dressing. So I chose blue cheese to go with ours. If by chance you do have some picky eaters and the salad's not going to fly with them, just throw an extra potato or 2 in on meal 1. And you've got your grilled chicken here, so they can have grilled chicken, mashed potatoes, and salad. If you think it's going to be a problem for anyone in your family, young kids that don't eat salad, a hungry guy coming home from work that's not going to be happy with just salad, like I said, just think ahead, throw some extra potatoes into mash on meal 1, and make sure you have enough chicken and use the bread for that night. But having nice, colorful salads and raw vegetables is a great way to teach kids to appreciate their vegetables and to get used to eating them at a young age. Meal 2, big salad. Here we are, meal 3. This is gonna be your favorite meal. Not because you like meatballs, just because I don't know what you're gonna do tonight. You can sit back and relax on this one. Our meatballs are already made. We've got our hoagie, a simple hoagie roll. We've got a spaghetti sauce. Our side, which is our salad, is already made. So this one is super, super easy. So first of all, you want to get your oven preheating, obviously, so you can toast your hoagie rolls. Or you can just toast them on the stove if you want, so you don't have to heat up the oven just to toast bread. So on your meatballs, count out how many you want for tonight's meal. You're going to cover those with plastic and microwave them. The ones that you don't want, throw in a plastic baggie, put them in the freezer, or just pop them back in your refrigerator if you think you're going to get to them right away. But you can put them in the freezer and they're there for any time you need a quick meal on the fly. You just make spaghetti and meatballs one night. So just pop whatever you're not going to use in the freezer, wrap the rest of them in plastic wrap and microwave them. We're going to put our spaghetti sauce in here to simmer, and then we're just going to, when they come out of the microwave, we're going to throw them in there to simmer. We're going to toast our buns. And we have our salad already ready made. I've got the grated Parmesan here to dust on top. You've seen some other bins where I have put cheese on the bread. We didn't buy any cheese specifically for this, but if you had a mozzarella, provolone, or even if you want to use some of the shredded cheddar cheese on that, you're more than welcome to. Cheese will kind of keep your bread from getting as soggy if you have that little bit of a cheese barrier. So if you want to add cheese, if you happen to have cheese, or if you want to add cheese to your bin, so you do have it for this, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'm just doing sauce, meatballs, and Parmesan. So let's get working on all this. So there's meal 3, another super, super easy meal because of planning. We had a plan for the week's meals. It worked out for us. You ended up with 2 super easy meals, and we're not skimping on quality. These meals are still delicious meatball subs with a side salad. So for the finale, this is our shake and bake pork chops with scalloped potatoes and canned green beans. First thing you want to do on this one, we're going to get our scalloped potatoes in the oven. We did this once before in another bin. I sliced them on the mandolin. This time, however, I'm actually doing 5 potatoes because my potatoes are pretty darn small. And I'm also going to hand cut them. I'm going to do this because when you do use the mandolin, you always get a portion of each potato that doesn't get sliced on the mandolin that you have to hand cut anyway. And these guys being this small, you're gonna have to hand cut almost 50% of this anyway. So I'm not even gonna mess with the mandolin this time. I'm just gonna hand cut them as thinly as you can. I've got our milk in here, 1 3/4 cups. Got our half tablespoon kosher salt and ground white pepper. And we also have our teaspoon of dried nutmeg in there. Just warm that up on the stove or put it in a microwave safe bowl and just microwave it just to warm up the milk. Get your salt dissolved and all your seasonings mixed through the milk. We got our chilled butter that I chopped up. I got a great deal on a block of cheese, so I had to shred my own. I'm gonna get these scalloped potatoes layered in here and get these in to bake. So I wrapped our scalloped potatoes in foil. I'm going to bake them for 1 hour, and then I'm going to bring them out, remove the foil, put them back in for 10 minutes to brown, okay? You want to get that working ASAP, okay? So I was planning on doing shake and bake pork chops. So when I went to the store, they did not have the pork mix. So I actually substituted with a different brand with pork. So I'm going to do mine following this box's recipe, which is actually cooking them in a pan. I think this has a little bit more flour in it than your shake and bake. So the reason why I was wanting to do shake and bake just because it's very easy. You just coat them with the seasoning, then you put them in the oven, and you can just kind of forget about them. This one, because it has a little more flour in it, it suggests that you pan fry them. So I am going to do that. This one actually is a little cheaper than the shake and bake. Perhaps you're paying for the name. Perhaps you're paying for the difference in the type of ingredients that are in these. Whichever one you pick up, just follow your directions on the box for these, okay? I got a thicker cut pork chop. This one I did boneless. I know the smothered pork chops we did with the bone in. This one I just preferred to do a boneless. Since you got the crispy breading on it, I just chose boneless. Plus, if you have kids, they don't have to worry about the bone. So we're doing a boneless chop, a little bit thicker cut. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything ready to go. I won't start frying these until the scalloped potatoes are almost ready. Same as with the green beans. We're just doing a can of green beans. Again, you could use fresh or frozen green beans if you would prefer. I'm just going to do a can, so that's going to be a last minute type deal. And I'm also going to get another piece of bread cooked off, just like we did for the Salisbury steaks. So you got a total of 70 minutes cook time on the scalloped potatoes. All right, so that's it. I'll just finish all this up and that'll be meal 4. Our pork chops are working here. I was going to brown those on both sides. Like I said, just follow your package's instructions. Because if you get shake and bake, you'll probably be baking it. First you'll shake it, then you'll bake it. But anyway, the scalloped potatoes are almost ready. So let's heat up these green beans and cook off the last piece of bread if you still have it. All right, so we're just going to uncover these. And I'm just going to put them back in to brown for the last 10 minutes of the cooking time. And there's meal 4. So we've got our shake and bake pork chops, scalloped potatoes, green beans. There you have another excellent home style meal. There is bin 19. Lots of vegetables with that big salad. We have corn and green beans going on this week. So lots of vegetables on top of some home style dishes that your mom used to make. We started off meal 1 with our Salisbury steaks. Our Salisbury steaks are smothered in that mushroom gravy. We have the onion and mushroom topping on that. We're serving that with the mashed potatoes and corn. Meal 2, we moved into our big salad night. So we had the big salad night with a grilled chicken. I threw out some cottage cheese, some sunflower kernels, just to let you know about some cheap add-ons. I threw cucumber, radishes, mushrooms, red cabbage, yellow peppers, carrots, and celery on my spinach and iceberg lettuce mix. Again, you've got 2 pieces of hoagies for the other 3 meals. So if you want to throw out the bread for that one, throw out the bread for that one. Meal 3, meatball hoagies. So I bought that artesian hoagie. We have our meatballs that we made with the same base that we use for the Salisbury steaks. We've done that same base on 3 other bins. There will be a total of at least 5 bins throughout the 52 that I am planning on doing that have that same base. This is so versatile. Meatloaf, spaghetti and meatballs, meatball subs, Salisbury steaks, barbecue smothered hamburger steaks, Hawaiian meatballs, Swedish meatballs. There's just tons of possibilities from the same base. So, you can put that one in your memory bin and just roll with it on, even for parties and stuff. You can make some barbecue meatballs or Hawaiian meatballs for a cocktail type party. So tons of versatility there. Meal 3, the meatball subs, and we're serving those subs with whatever leftover salad you might have. On meal 4, we have our shake and bake pork chops with scalloped potatoes and green beans. A couple of childhood memories here for me. Definitely the shake and bake, scalloped potatoes, and definitely the Salisbury steak with mashed potatoes. So that's been number 19. Again, like, share, subscribe on my YouTube channel, or check out the website, hotmomsdinnerclub.com, for the full recipes for all these that you can download, and the shopping list included in the membership as well. So thanks for joining me, Hot Mom's Dinner Club.